good, right? Did the YouTube really take that long to load? I've been standing here talking for over a minute in Facebook while YouTube has been loading this entire time. Wow. That's kind of crazy, right? Hopefully it stays stable. I don't know why it took so long to load. Like I'm literally at the 2 minute mark on Facebook. I hit the button and was over talking in there for a moment and then realized still waiting on YouTube to load when I came over. That's kind of crazy. Man, what's up with that? Right? What is up with that? Man, I just don't get it. But you know what you're gonna do. But we'll see. Maybe we'll get a decent one. The last one was decent. We had a wasn't a big turnout, but it was a little bit. It was really, really early though the sun wasn't up yet. It was a pretty decent turnout. Got a super chat, all good. I got a consultation later today. Hey, maybe I'll get lucky and pick up a client today. There's been some applications floating around. They just haven't followed up. Hopefully they will. Maybe they will. Maybe they won't. But hopefully all of you people are doing well. We're getting a few views here on the YouTube. It hasn't really kicked off yet. Do I need to kick it into the community tab? We might need to do that. Let's see if we need to put it over the community tab. All right. Because I don't think it's hitting people's feeds just yet. Because I don't see any likes, so there's no regulars. Okay. So let's get this. All right, let's get this up and going. Let's try that. Let's see if that gets it done. All right. That'll usually get it in people's feed. As soon as I put it into that community tab, that a lot of times will get everything flowing. The Facebook's been slow though this morning. None of my regulars have come through. That's why some of those regulars come through. Will be in a good spot. I got several client sheets to do. I've got footage I could put up too. I think I've got to do Matthias. All right, we got to do his vlog. We got Ted's vlog up. Should be any moment. I should have Alex any moment too. But yeah, put up those shorts. I'm going to put up some grocery pictures later on Facebook. Those do well sometimes, man. All right, they do well. But at least there's that first like. So I think we're going to slowly get some views. I think once I put it in the community tab, that's a lot of time what we need, right? Get some people in here, right? Get some people in here, get it flowing. Yeah. But yeah, so we're going to get the second cardio. Like I was kind of saying, I feel like I've gone a little overboard with the list. All it's doing, I feel like it's just making me hungry at a certain point. So I'm kind of like, as far as the list goes, because I'm jogging also, and I'm going to build that up. I've added more sled work. We're doing a lot of other stuff. I feel like I could keep the list in tame, right? It's like as long as I get an hour minimum on training days on the bike, right, with the list. Because the bike is harder than the walking. I've noticed that the rate of the heart rate seems higher, breathing's higher, sweating's higher. Because of the setting I use on the bike. As long as I get at least an hour on the lifting days and 2 hours on the non-lifting days, I feel like I'm in a good place with the list cardio. Like trying to hit 4 hours and stuff just gets silly. Because there's a point where, sure, it's good for streaming, but I can just make other videos. It's good for streaming, but at a certain point, I'm probably not even benefiting my endurance any further, And again, I feel like all it does is make me hungrier. So because I can just, if I want extra calorie burn, we're doing all this list, we're getting a good amount. Let's do some jogging, which I'm already doing. Do this stuff that's going to be a little higher heart rate. I've been adding the sled work. Let's just focus on all that additional metabolic work, right? So there's a point where I was doing so much of it, I feel like it does get excessive. Although it had its fun, and it's also a good learning thing, and it's good to get used to just doing it. The main thing is it's beneficial to just do it. But that was never going to be sustainable. Even what I'm doing now, I might get so busy, I might get to where we just get an hour a day, and eventually I'll be golden. But even then, in the context of health and fitness, people who lift and have pretty good numbers and they're strong, and an hour of list cardio every day at that point, that's pretty much peak health. We're at optimal health. Did you guys see that newest study? I just saw it hit my feed of some researchers did an exhaustive meta-analysis of step count. And they said the 10,000 is wrong. They noticed that health dramatically improves, cancer rates go down, everything up to about 7,000 steps a day. That's what they found. And they said after that, it just drops off to where there's tiny benefits to going higher, but it's very, very small. Does that make sense? Simon says, hey, Jason, saw Ted does some combat training on an conjugate. I'm approaching the professional level in BJJ. Yeah, I'm training daily. Do you remember when I was training Josh Taylor over in the UK? He's at a very high level in BJJ. I'm going to be honest, man, starting strength is going to beat you up. Like you said, you've been running starting strength is starting to beat me up. Would you recommend a low volume conjugate in my situation? Absolutely. Hey, Simon, I'll coach you if you want. I coach BJJ people on conjugate. So if you need a strength coach, hit me up. But failing that, or Simon, if you want to do a consultation, my consultations are $100. I'll map out a program for you that you can go run for 10 or 12 weeks. Joshua Taylor in the UK, yeah. I have vlogs. He admits it. No, he's pretty open about it. We did vlogs and stuff. I've coached him off and on. It's never been like a full-time thing. I coach him about 3 months every year, pretty much. 2 to 3 months every year, I coach him for his strength training. And then he kind of does it on his own after that. Right? So, yeah, no, we've got vlogs up on the channel. They're there. Again, if you need help with that, I do this professionally. So if you want to get coaching or you can't afford full-time coaching, if you want to do a consultation, I'll help you map out a program in that hour, so that you get your money's worth on just a one-off hour call. So I'd be more than happy to help you out, brother. So hit me up on Facebook. The link's under all my videos to my Facebook. So yeah, I can definitely write you something up. I can't afford monthly. Yeah, dude. A lot of people can't afford my coaching, and I totally accept that. Right. So, my consultation calls are $100 US. You get an hour. Usually I end up going over the hour, but you get an hour, and I will cover whatever you need in that hour. A lot of those, literally, I map out a whole training program for people pretty frequently. I'd say half the calls I do, people want a full program mapped out. So definitely there. Rufio, yeah, we're back. What's going on, Rufio? Benjamin, if one is limited with time, would it be better to prioritize higher volume of the weight training rather than cardio for overall body composition? Ooh, good question, Benjamin. The problem is some cardio is beneficial. Yeah, cardio is so beneficial. We could make a case for that, though. All right, especially someone with really limited time. We could make a very strong case for doing that, actually. Assuming the volume is not just junk volume. You know what I mean, Benjamin? I don't play video games, Dunberger. This is a fitness-only channel. You probably didn't know that. I only answer fitness. Something has to be somewhat fitness-related for me to answer it. You don't know the rules yet, so I'm not going to ban you. But we don't do that sort of content. I've changed over to exclusively only answering stuff fitness-related. We're working on the ATM at the moment. Just working with Peter. I'll give you a follow-up Facebook later. That's good. $100 well worth it. Yeah, I got slots open this weekend. I'm doing a call this afternoon already one of my guys who I've done a previous call with, same sort of consultation. But I absolutely have time tomorrow. So if you end up having time tomorrow or the next day, I can probably work you in. It's just that I try to do weekdays. My training days, man, I like to only do afternoons. What percentage of your client base primarily train for aesthetics nowadays? What do you do to help your sleep better? Sleep hygiene. Rufio, primarily for aesthetics, like as an only or just as a primary with some concern for strength? Exclusively aesthetics, I only have like a one. Primarily like aesthetics and then strength, probably 30%. 1 in 3 clients maybe. What do you do to help your sleep better? Sleep in a pitch black room, ambient noise, rain sounds, fans, if need be, melatonin. If need be, pre-bedtime carbs. Stay away from blue light. I watch a lot of your older videos advocating higher stance. What do you mean higher stance? Squats due to activating more. What do you mean higher stance? You mean wider stance? It might in some cases, but not necessarily. It's no, because it may not always get more quad. It is going to have the potential for a lot of glute and adductor, definitely. So no, I'm not going to say that we need to always go that route. That was always the starting strength position, though, by the way. Nice. How do you feel your current training is going right now? Feeling strong? Yeah, I mean, everything's good, Simon. Simon, I've been cutting. I'm leaner. My conditioning is going up. I'm doing more and more athletic and conditioning stuff. Right. And I still hit a 350-pound pause bench last week with a 2-second pause, flat back, 48. Had a decent mid 400 squat last week. It's the squats are a little tough having cut. I don't think I have a 500 squat in me right now. But I want to get back to that. Right. But I've been adding all this cardio in, and I've lost weight and all this conditioning. So that's going to take a little bit, because again, I've started doing barefoot running. I'm doing all my sled work, box jumps. Ted goes pretty hard. He goes pretty close to a 100 max. A lot of them are true maxes. Yeah. Always good when things are going up simultaneously. You strike me as a Black Sabbath fan. I am. You probably heard me do the solo to Paranoid, but we want to stick to fitness only topics, please. But rip to Ozzy and the Hulkster. Do adductor and adductor growth contribute to the carrot look and lift? Not really, not to a huge extent. That's really, the adductors can, but we're talking excessive drug abuse does that, not squatting, right? Because if it did, then why did guys like Franco Columbu not have the carrot look? He had that perfect quad shape, is over a 600-pound squatter. I think it's too many leg extensions. I think it's erectus femoris. And then I think excessive adductor growth from guys running 5 grams a gear and throwing all that insulin in. Will you progress to doing sprints? I have no current plans for that review, but I already said I already sprint with the sled. Right? Right? Simon, my problem is starting strength is my strength is going up, but everything else started stalling and going down for the most part. Cardio. Starting strength has its set of problems. Forgive me if my question doesn't come across as being relevant, but biologically speaking, there's no debate on that. We're cooked food omnivores. Obviously with a bias towards plants, in terms of the percentages. There's pretty overwhelming data for that. I'm loosely tracking calories, my programs. Loosely protein. My fat's really low right now. All-time favorite compound, deadlift. Rufio, tell them, get those likes in. Does intense cardio have its own recovery matrix? Yes. All right. Big Mina says, this is weird. Here, I'll help you out, dude. We can fix that problem for you. That's right, Rufio, tell them, get those likes up. Do we have anything happening on Facebook? Yeah. All right. Follow a guy on Instagram who was doing mainly machine work for BJJ. What? And athletes. And says, as long as you target muscles or handle, doesn't really matter how they build you. I'm going to go with no. I do understand what he is saying in terms of mechanical tension at the muscular level, but in terms of total coordination, everything else, I'm going to say, yeah, probably not. I'm also down for a consultation this week or early next week. I'll message you later. Awesome, dude. What's better, outdoor running or treadmill? Outdoor, man. Hey, Dumb, you see me right now, just started running again. I haven't run in a really long time. I started again this week. I'm doing barefoot running outside. Right? You're seeing it on the channel, right? I'll be running barefoot. That's how Coach does it. I mean, I squat and deadlift barefoot. You guys have seen me squat and deadlift 600 plus without shoes in the past when I was heavier and stronger. Now it's down like 500. You know, we're older and lighter. Is chest the best head ever made? To some extent, it needs to be your base if you're going to go that route. My friend discouraged me from running on treadmills. Tells me, I mean, we can make a good case for outdoor being better. I mean, again, you have to deal with weather and other stuff. But, you know, I like the outdoor. I don't like treadmills personally. I want to get some fresh air, get on some various terrains sometimes, you know. Again, I haven't run in 20 years. I started off as a runner before I got into lifting. I used running to lose 150 pounds when I was younger. And then I got really serious about the barbell like 25 years ago. But no, dude, I like running outside. Rubio says you're becoming a hybrid athlete pretty much. You see my posts on Facebook with that? You're the chosen one. You know, all that stuff for the followers. Like I pretty much become a powerlifting CrossFitter at this point. Yes, I listen to music when I work out. Mostly hard rock and blues. This week it's been mostly, I've thrown some mixes back in though. Motorhead, Iron Maiden. A lot of times I go through AC/DC or ZZ Top phases or Stevie Ray Vaughan when I'm working out. I had a whole period where I probably went 6 weeks while listening to nothing but ZZ Top while I was lifting. No, it doesn't make me stronger. No, dude. You've seen me pull 635 with no music playing at all. Right? I pulled 635 on camera with a stiff bar. Just chalking a belt with no music or sound at all. No headphones in, no music. You can hear in the background. Just calm and chill, baby. We just walk over and lift that weight. But Rufio, we are becoming a hybrid athlete. But that's what I said. Let's be well-rounded. Right? We should all be strong. We should be jacked. We should be lean. We should be conditioned. We should be explosive, and we should have pretty blood work. That is fitness. Are you still anti-strap? Hell no, dude. Stay strapped or get clapped, homie. You know what I'm saying? As far as lifting straps, for the most part, yeah. I very rarely use them. I mean, they could have their use here and there. I'm not a fan. Build them forearms, bro. This is what using no straps does. Fit, strong, healthy. There we go, Carol. Tell them, man. All right? So we can age like fine wine. I turned 49 this year. I'll do in barefoot running. It's like, let's go do some 400 plus squats, 500 plus deadlifts, and then go running before breakfast. All right? Imagine once you gain your first 10 pounds of muscle after starting at an average body weight, is focusing on body recomposition is definitely the way to go. I mean, largely, yeah. There's probably no point in you bulking unless you're really lean. I mean, I get it. You can get lean enough to where it's a problem. But most of you guys aren't going to do that. Like, man, I'm struggling to make further gains at this body weight, and I got veins running through my lower abs. Okay, that makes sense. But, you know, dudes without a six-pack literally gaining weight to gain muscle, you're kidding me. That's just called getting fat, guys. And we've been there. We've done that. And we get a flex of the calves. I charge for that stuff review. All right. You ever done arm wrestling training? No. I've coached, strength coach, and arm wrestler, only one. We did a lot of reverse curls and stuff, to be fair. You know, not a bad way to go. I'll eventually work some hammer curls back in, but I'm avoiding all supine work. I want to get that inflammation down so I can overhead press again, which we've talked about in the vlogs. Which I think I'm right. I think if I stop doing any supine work and stop curling for just a little bit, my overhead will return. Because I want to get back to where I'm doing strict presses at 225 again. Teddy bounce. All right, you get a teddy bounce. All right. All right, I'm going to need $5 review. I'm kidding. You don't have to. Watch him actually do it. That would be fun. Hilarious. Okay, coach. $1 for each bounce. You bounced 5 times. Thoughts on pendulum squats. Depends on the person. If they're anatomically good for you, they can be useful. All right, fitness only questions too. All right. If you need the assistance on a machine work and your anatomy is good on the pendulum squat, it feels comfortable and it feels right, it can be good. If it doesn't feel like a natural, perfect movement pattern to you, it's garbage. Very simple. That's going to depend on your individual biomechanics. That's with any machine. That's why there are no good machines, because no machine is perfect. Everyone, it's only going to be a certain percentage of people who any given machine is going to be perfect for their biomechanics, unfortunately. But I'm more of a free weight guy. What's your thoughts on the Hatfield squats and the Larson press? I don't like Hatfield squats. I don't see the point. It's no offense to Dr. Fred Hatfield, but why? What's the point? What are we trying to? I don't see what we're trying to get out of it other than to reduce the load at the bottom. Larson press is absolutely viable exercise. I think particularly, so Larson presses versus floor presses, that's actually a viable discussion, because I really like the floor press as a supplemental lift. And a lot of my guys max on it. Guys who can touch their chest or get within an inch of their chest on the floor press may not get as much out of a Larson press. Guys who aren't as thick, who tend to use a lot of leg drive on their bench, because once you learn to leg drive, it's hard to not leg drive. I think the Larson press becomes a really valuable chest builder, especially for getting stronger right off the chest. So guys who normally use a lot of leg drive, who tend to stick 3 to 4 inches off the chest on their benching, Larson press is legit, right? Why did the Hodge trends refer to deadlifts as back snatch? Because that's how they feel about them. Dumberger, in theory, wouldn't ketogenic diets burn more fat? Because when you put your body in this state of ketosis and you, in theory, burn more body fat. No, you don't burn more body fat. Right? Why would you burn more body fat? You burn more fat during keto because you're eating fat. Nothing to do with your body fat. Ketogenic diets are going to have a lower thermic effect overall, though. They're going to have lower satiety. There's things that happen with a ketogenic diet. I'm not saying they can't be really useful. They also kill you if you do the high saturated fat version. Did you look at the ketogenic study that came out a couple months ago? Did you look at the data and all the doctors who examined the data from a pro-keto set of researchers who conducted it? It's a death sentence. If you look at that data and you look at their measurements, the high saturated fat keto is a death sentence. You might as well have just ate a bullet if you do it long term. Now, higher PUFA ketogenic diets don't produce that. Hey, Dumberger, we don't discuss the cheat meals because we're not doing any cheat meals right now. It's not something I want to discuss or have brought up. I banned a guy yesterday for saying he was going to Uber Eats me a cheat meal. I straight up banned him. All right. Jacob says, so I need the Larson press, and you might actually. Biggest difference between coaching women versus men. Women listen to instructions as clients way better than men do. They don't argue. If they're paying you to coach them, they ask questions. They don't argue. I have never once had a client who's a woman write back to me, I'm not doing this fucking workout. Not one time, ever. If they don't like something, they'll ask a question. They'll ask for clarification. They'll ask you why we're doing something, but they don't ever argue if they're paying you. That's the biggest difference. They ask questions. They want points of clarification in the communication. Men are more likely as clients to throw hissy fits, temper tantrums, or tell you, I'm not doing this exercise. I'm not doing this workout. And argue with you about it. Have you ever had clients randomly max out when you weren't supposed to? Yes. I have also had clients randomly max out off schedule and literally have to have surgery to repair the damage. I'm not kidding. You see my face. I have literally had a client on his off day hanging out with his mates do a max deadlift contest with them all psyched up. And because they were all psyched up and screaming and he won the deadlift contest, he turned loose of the bar on the way down early when they were using bumpers and it bounced up and broke his wrist. And he had to have pins put in his wrist. Would picking up your guitar and playing it, rocking out, be considered cardio? Not really, no. How do you deal with it? It has to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. All right. Has to be dealt with on a case-by-case basis. So it's not a one-size-fit-all answer, unfortunately. That's a funny question. Have you ever had clients, as many clients as I've had, have I ever had a client max out outside of the rotation? Yeah, I've only had 25 clients do that. I mean, technically Lasix is fitness related. I've thought about it. I've never gone through it. It's pickleball cardio. I don't know what pickleball is. Rufio, you're British. It sounds like a British thing. Is he trolling me here? Is this like ban-worthy nonsense? Pickleball? It's going to be some sort of sex act or something. All right. Which one did I pickleball? It's like tennis. It sounds British. All right. You ever gotten into power cleans when you're lifting journey? I don't really have the, right now my shoulder range of motion doesn't allow for them, but yes. I started off with cleans. Like my first workout had cleans in it. Right? My first day in the gym, my cousins had me squat, bench press, and do muscle cleans. That's what they taught me to do. That was my first training program. Literally, my first training program was back squats, bench press, and power cleans, or muscle cleans, really. I've noticed since you lost weight, you seem to be awesome. Probably pickleball is actually decent cardio. It's just I've never heard of it. It sounds very British, though. I can already tell. This sounds like a name the Brits would come up with for a sport. What are we gonna call it? Pickleball, mate. You got a license to play pickleball? You have to have a license to play it, though. I assume. Right? You can get fined by the government if you don't have a license to play pickleball. Right. You have a license for that. Oh man. That's still fitness related. All right. We're staying on topic. Bet you do have to have a license for it. Right. All right. It's true. Like anyone who's ever, like, you guys know it's true. I've lived there for 3 years. It's ridiculous. I have a license for everything. Did you like the Pumping Iron movie? Yeah, everyone likes the Pumping Iron movie. Everyone's got I got a copy of it still on this computer somewhere. It's a classic. Right? How can you not like pumping iron to be a lifter? Everybody likes pumping iron. What's this guy saying here? I purchased some very realistic lightsabers, so practicing lightsaber dueling with my friends is cardio right now. I mean, to be fair, I think it counts. It's still going to be less cardio. It's going to be a form of less to some extent. Yeah. I mean, it counts. It's definitely physical activity. It's going to elevate your heart rate. Jason, I love how much you've helped me change in training the last 10 years. Awesome, man. What brand of carb are you drinking? This one is actually from Amazon. It's on my wish list. So this is, so if you look at that Amazon wish list, like if you wanted to drink this same coffee, it's literally on my wish list. So let me pull it up so I can tell you which one it is. I think it's the Pete's. Yeah, it's the Pete's coffee on my Amazon wish list. I'll put this link at the top. Not saying you have to buy me some, but I'm just saying it's there. So making it more difficult, I wear a heavy Darth Vader suit. As trolly as this conversation is, it's still technically fitness. So we'll allow it. Thoughts on CrossFit? I did it in college and hated it. I'm actually fairly favorable view of CrossFit. I'm not saying it doesn't have some problems. What's the favorite video you've ever made? I don't know. The favorite video I've ever made. The one where I read my poem out loud. Do You Even Lift Bro? By Jason Blaha. So if you check and type that in, Do You Even Lift Bro? I literally I wrote a poem and I read it out loud in the video. It's called Do You Even Lift Bro? My favorite video I've ever made. Pretty close behind that was the bag post collage with the Now You're a Man in the background. That one's up there too. That's probably number 2. Now you're a man, man. Right? How many YouTube channels have you had before this? We had the original fitness channel, right? We had the original fitness channel, which then spun into this one when I rebranded it a year later. I had the relationship advice channel as a spinoff that I closed like 13 years ago. So we had these 3. And then I had the firearm channel, which I don't upload to anymore. It got unmonetized anyways because they don't want firearm content. So I've had 4 channels. 4 channels total. Of real channels. That Know You're a Man song. Yes, Carlise, I am very familiar with it. When's Ted going to start doing meets? You guys will see. We're not going to announce it, but he is going to do meets. We're preparing for some stuff coming up soon, actually. We're going to leave it a surprise. Ted's actually a character. Like, you guys see how he types when he comes in here? He's really like that. Dude's ridiculous. He already has like a whole line after the competition. I got a whole line we can read out. All right. Is it wise to do farmer's carries as a novice, or would you stick to compound movements? You know what? If you want to get a little GPP in as a novice and you want to do some farmer's carry, I think it's perfectly fine. I think it's perfectly acceptable. That point video is so good, Coach. Thank you. Because remember, do you even lift, bro? By Jason Blaha. A question a troll might innocently ask. Do you even lift, bro? Of course I lift. These are calibrated road plates. Don't you see them? Don't you see them in my videos? Yeah, I would all in on it. I love it. Yeah, I had a lot of fun with that one. Right. It was a poem about having an existential crisis, actually. You have to compete in powerlifting and be considered a powerlifter? Yes. You're a powerlifter once you've stepped on the platform in that competition. You've confronted someone that's ridiculous. Are injuries bad luck or poor behavior? More oftentimes, they're preventable. 99% of the time, they're not bad luck. They're predictable. Hamisha said, barbell rows, weighted dips, and belt squats. These three hit the entire body musculature. I already gave you my answer last stream on that. No, that's leaving a lot to be desired. Your only axial loading movement is barbell rows, and you really think this is optimal for all your musculature? I'm going to say no. So, at the very least, replace the belt squat with a back squat. The Holly Home would be your favorite video for your bank account. To be fair, Rufio, it didn't make that much money because it was so short. Dude, that video made $100. I've had multiple videos that made well over $1,000. Do you know that on the firearm channel, I had a video that made $2,500 in ads? So the Holly Home video made $100, dude. I know it was millions of views, but they were low quality views. Do I need to be concerned with winning my first powerlifting medal or just get experience on the platform? You saw that flish. The coach in me wants to tell you, man, we're just there to get some experience and get your feet wet. Just go in and just learn to compete. That's what the coach in me says. The competitor in me says, sacrifice to win. You win at any cost. You are there to win. Second place is the first loser, baby. Shake and bake. Winning is everything. I mean, my aunt, who she competes in powerlifting, she has a picture she took. She printed out a quote from me and stuck it on her little vision board in her office. And it's in her quote. It says, she sent me the picture. It's great. It says, we compete to win, Jason Blaha. And I gave her a pep talk one day before we meet. I called her up and we talked, you know. Our ADHD mental form PD, I don't really know. Haters are going to spin now that with you jogging. They're really upset. I've noticed that. They ain't happy. I've got some very hateful stuff sent to me over that. They are really upset. Like, has spun a gasket. Like, just busted a gasket everywhere. They're not happy. Coach, flip the script. Hey, Peppermint, you're there to win. That's right. You're right, coaches. No, they're not hiding at all. They're flipping out. They're like really pissed off. Keep smashing it, coach. I triggered a response apparently by me jogging. It's been, yeah. I definitely upset them. It got their attention. See how you look without glasses. Tell coach looks without glasses. Next week, you're going to start overhead pressing. I need to be able to overhead press. As soon as I am able to do it again, I will be overhead pressing. I don't know if anything about Metcon 9, sorry. Are you upgraded now? It's the same webcam I always use, dude. It's the same one I use for all these videos sitting down, man. It's a Mexico. I don't know. I've been told that before. Actually, one of my sister's friends was like, your brother looked like Jason Statham. This was years ago. She like sprayed her with a squirt bottle. Never. She did not like her friends ever hitting on me. There's a backstory to that. We're not going to go into why. Sorry, you left me alone with your crazy friend in your house with no car and no way to leave. All right. You left me trapped. So, how do you vote people whose lives have changed because of you? Me? No, I mean, I like it. When people, I've got some really touching stuff sent to me in messages over the years, like stuff that's made me teary eyes. I mean, yours is probably good. Don't get me wrong. It's probably good, but dude, I've gotten some stuff that were tear jerkers. Like, this is how you helped me change. And it's like, oh my God. Well, Rufio, that's kind of what happened. It was just that. I'm going to leave it alone. It's just, yeah. Next. All right. Next. Back to fitness. Let's leave that one alone. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But all right, next, I'm going to leave it alone. Okay, you ever created a P.O. box? I'd send you a thank you. I have an Amazon wish list, Nunberger, actually. It's linked, sticky to the top. Yeah. But yeah, appreciate it, brother. I'm glad I've been able to change your life. I mean, I got stuff like coffee and stuff in there, dude. You know. Good morning, Coach. What's up, Superman? We got Superman comes in and then Super Dude comes in sometimes, back and forth. I don't think they're the same guy. Yeah, I think it's fitness for me. It sounds like you got some hip thrusts in it. Yeah, no need for the details. No, it was mainly my sister's reaction. That was the thing. There was pubic hair and cum all over my 1400 thread count pillow. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Do you notice some belt pump after doing the sleds? I noticed a crazy calf pump. Is it true? I tried veganism for 6 months. Chad Ross, the Chad bot here. What's up, Chad? Chad's a good dude. Chad and I have broed out before. Cool. Possible consultation. I'll get to him after this. I said, yeah, I'll do a consultation. Guy who was thinking of applying for coaching a while back but didn't follow through. Nice. I just popped up in my screen. Who to the user? Coach got to make that money. All right. You can make a good wrestler. I don't know about that. After I saw your old videos about isolation, I think history makes a circle. I have some experience with hours spending doing laterals before focusing on overhead pressing. Did you guys see Paul Carter's stuff come through this week? I literally saw Paul Carter, and that's going to piss people off. You know what he put in a thing? He said, if you're doing an overhead press, a lateral raise is redundant. He wrote that, by the way. He wrote that. He goes, it's completely redundant to do a lateral raise in the same workout. The overhead press hits your side delts enough. That's what Paul Carter wrote. And he's all about a hypertrophy bro now. I thought a new question for you today, Coach. If your goal is overall strength and hypertrophy, would you recommend pause bench press or touch and go or a combination? Man, I'd pause it, dude. I'd pause it. All right. That's what I would recommend. What would your weight be if you got stage lean? I don't know. Your guess is as good as mine, Doug Burger. Since I've never gotten stage lean, I have no clue. I don't know. Maybe 180. But I don't want to be stage lean. I have no desire to be current stage lean. I don't think it's healthy. I don't think it looks good. I have no desire to do it. But yeah, Superman, I would say focus mostly on pause benching, dude. Because even touch and go, I mean, touch and go can be great for hypertrophy if you can do it correctly. But touch and go means a soft touch, zero bounce, no bounce, like barely making contact with your chest, like just barely grazing the skin, right? Just enough to compress your chest hair. When you do barefoot running, do you get needles and stuff in your foot? No, I haven't had any problems so far. I'm only stepping where I can see. I'm stepping on the sidewalk in the street. Like I can see where I'm going, so I can see what's in the street or not. So I'm not staring at my phone. I'm trying to watch where I'm going. So when I've done them so far, that's been fine, man. I'm assuming like pine needles, not needles. Like I live in Spring. We have a homeowners association. In fact, I ran by the president of the homeowners association yesterday. I passed him. All right. Like, you know, I do live in that type of neighborhood. Great effort getting the jogging on camera. I can see how that could be difficult, right? I mean, as long as I'm on there, we're documenting, right? That's what matters. You know, yeah. He's over here worried me. He's like, I don't live in that type of area, man. We don't live in that type of place. Oh. Yep. I just told someone to piss off with my reel. I have one of my squats, right? Everyone should squat. And they're literally telling me, you're leaning to the right on your squat. You would get more balance hypertrophy. That's like, you really don't tell me how to squat. Somebody with no lifting footage yet? No. Coach, do they have park run in Texas? I don't know what that means. Got to look the research on Reddit, Coach. Comparing Ozempic and Trizep as a triple agonist seems to be profound. Impact on biomarkers with no gut issues. I haven't looked into any of the GLPs really. It's not doing that at the moment. Would you say you've been the greatest resistance against fake natties since day one? Possibly, I think so. Which just made me countless enemies. All right. Time for me to hit the gym. See you later, Coach. Good luck, Rufio. Have a good workout, man. Jason, can a natural still maximize gains training it once a week? Maybe. Most fun city in Texas. I don't see it that way anymore. I mean, because I don't party and I'm not young. What does that have to do with fitness? TY, you keep asking non-fitness questions. That's like the third one. Park run is a 5K run, kind of like a race, which is held weekly in certain place. People can show up and run. I mean, they might. I don't know. There might be. All right. There might be such a thing. I'm not sure. When was my first live? Okay, good. All right. Do you do vest training? I did some. I did one again the other day. I haven't been lately. For a while, I was walking in the vest every day. I have 50 pounds of the weight vest. I enjoy a little higher frequency, but once a week frequency is really fun too. You know, if that's what you enjoy. I've kind of talked about that a lot of really, we could argue nuance a lot about frequency, but I would also say what you enjoy and do consistently is kind of important. You know, are you going to put the most effort and consistency into something that's only 95% as good as something else that you're going to put less consistency in? Well, then it still makes it better. So therein lay the point. Even though I think we can make a strong case for higher frequency, if you enjoy the once a week and you're going to do it more consistently, it's still going to end up being better. All right. Even though we can make a very strong case for twice a week at least being a little more optimal for gains, slightly more potentially. All right. You know, says me. That's true. Twice a week, there's more neural drive. Yeah. Well, the argument is still about muscle protein synthesis and growth and all that also. So, I mean, the only point though is that it's probably relatively minor. You know, and I think people do get a little too obsessed with nuance who aren't optimizing other stuff. You know, dudes are literally worried about optimizing something like that whose diet isn't perfect. They could use another 30 minutes of sleep. There's a point where I tell guys, literally optimizing your training versus just really good training, but getting one less hour of sleep, but getting an extra hour of sleep on slightly less optimal training, the higher sleep is still going to probably produce better gains. Like, especially if your sleep is just a little under optimal. You know what I mean? You're still probably better off getting the sleep. So dudes who aren't optimizing their recovery, you know, in terms of nutrition, rest, worried so much about trying to squeeze out that last percent of training gains when they're leaving 30 or 40% of the gains off the table from the other stuff. And they're not even in a lifestyle to grow from the optimization. May not be a good use of time and resources. You know? Makes sense? But I think we could make a case for slightly better from the higher frequency. I think we could make a strong case for that. You find there's a motivation issue training at home? Nope. Would you recommend pausing all bench work and secondary lifts too, like closed grip bench, dumbbell? Dumbbell, maybe not necessarily, because it can benefit more from a stretch reflex. Can't really bounce the weight off your chest, but you could certainly pause all of that too. We could make a case for it. But again, dumbbells, you really can get a stretch. But I was doing all pause on my incline dumbbells a while back, wasn't I? When I was doing them. Not that I'm doing them now. I don't discuss my best because it was before smartphones and I can't prove it. So I just prefer to live in the modern era. So let's leave that off the table. On camera, you've seen me close grip 365 at a heavier body weight, like close grip 16 inches, right, with a pause. I've also done a wider grip 365 for a 2-second pause on camera. My best this year at this lighter body weight has been 350. I did that for a 2-second pause last week. But that's, you know, a lighter body weight, older. I was like 15 pounds heavier with body weight on that 365. Right? Would it wilks out better, the 350? Probably. In terms of relative, you know. And the Facebook has been really slow in here. Not been much happening on the Facebook. I might go ahead and end the Facebook. And I'll chat with you people in here a few more minutes. I don't know the exact Wilks or dots on it, Dunbar. We would need to plug it into a calculator. Thanks, Coach. Appreciate your wisdom. Peppermint, how often do you plan to jog a week, Coach? I'm going to try to squeeze one in most days. I mean, close to every day, if not every day, if the weather permits, if my schedule permits. You know, I don't want to go jog in the rain. And it's a little damp out there still. It was raining this morning. We'll see. I'm going to try to squeeze one in most days. A guy who weighs 250 and deadlifts 750, a guy who weighs 100 pounds and deadlifts who's stronger, a guy who lifts more weight. Like, that's not even a question. So TY, if a guy weighs 95 pounds and deadlifts 500, and another guy weighs 800 pounds and deadlifts 500 and a half, he's stronger. Hands down, he lifted half or more pound. Even though it was less than his body weight and the other guy was over 5 times his body weight, 500 and a half is heavier than 500. He's stronger. Relative strength, the other guy is stronger. Relatively strong, but not strength, not absolute strength. Right? Right. For to determine who's more impressive, we need to plug it into why we have dots and Wilks and things to compare weight classes. I like your strength standards, very achievable for most men. Do you have strength standards for women, or are they the same? I don't know. I would need to figure out strength standards for women. Those guys are fake natties, bro. This is effing YouTube, right? Right. I agree. That's why Wilks is meaningless. That's not meaningless. Because, I mean, not everyone's wanting to be fatted at a crazy high body weight. Weight classes exist for a reason. Is it fat-free mass index effective proof as a fake natty? I think it's pretty dang good indicator, yeah. I mean, obviously, you could be way smaller and be a fake natty. Because even the fat-free mass index calculator showed the average steroid users in the 24s. Right? Yeah, it's not meaningless. It's just it doesn't correspond to absolute strength. Agreed. Right. Agreed. And that's the whole point. Right. And that's what we're talking about. Yeah. Why are so many small guys here fake natties who look natty on YouTube? What? I don't understand the question. A 500-pound guy benching 300 is way more impressive than 300 guy benching 320, but the second guy is stronger. Yeah, I agree with that. But there comes a point where you're just like, why are you that light? Why are you not bigger? Like, why are you intentionally staying 150 pounds? Come on, right? But then you also have the fake guys, like that whatever powerlifter guy, total fraud, right? And I mean, we can reasonably argue the evidence is there that he's a fraud. Yeah, exactly, and that's the point. Remember, that 150-pound guy who's benching 300, if he put on 30 pounds, would be a beast. So why is he 150? What's he doing? I haven't seen any of that, right? Specifically, I don't know who you're talking about. I don't think it's that many. I mean, maybe you're seeing because of the population itself. I mean, they're a pretty sizable chunk of people fall in that category, higher cross-sectional area. And being shorter as a demographic, their relative strength is going to be really good. Anyone benching 300 plus at 150 is probably really short. Also true, right? Also true. Yeah, true as well. All right, guys, we're closing in on the hour for this one. I'm probably going to wind it down, get some other stuff done. Going to answer the guy on that console. So love you guys, and I will talk to you next time.